As athletes, we know that every rep matters.
Every time we step on the field, we're putting in the effort to bring home a win for the Gators.
And just like every rep matters, every Florida Victorious contribution matters too.
With Florida Victorious, your commitment can make a real difference in our ability to compete and win.
Every contribution is a way of showing your support for us
as community leaders,
as ambassadors for Gator Nation.
So whether you're contributing a little or a lot, every bit counts.
Every commitment takes us one step closer to victory.
Together. Let's do this together.
Every rep,
every membership. Support the Gators and join Florida Victorious today. Go Gators.
What's up, everybody?
How we doing, Dave?
Doing well. In pure football mode, which is a glorious, glorious feeling.
Definitely
from the listens and the views in the last week, I can definitely tell Gator Nation is ready for some football as well. So, but yeah, we got some good stuff to talk about, I think, with fall camp, certainly, and it's kind of his groove right now. They got the first scrimmage coming up this week. Kind of been talking about that basically since SEC Media Days, kind of putting that timeline on that first scrimmage for Billy Napier to name a starting quarterback, which we all expect to be Graham Mertz. But we'll get that this week, and hopefully we get a lot of good intel from the scrimmage. The practice notes have not been as in-depth, besides what the open portion has been. So I don't know if that's by design. I've heard a little bit here and there, but nothing like I heard last year as far as much content coming out of, kind of the private intel of what's going on at practice. And maybe we'll get some more out of the scrimmage. Maybe some more eyeballs will be in there. But I'll be sure to share some in here on the Discord when I can. But it's I think you guys have probably noticed too, there just hasn't been a whole lot of insider notes coming from practice so far in the week and a half they've been out there on the field. But I do think we are getting more. We got the open practice on Saturday, so I think that helps a whole lot of it because that's a lot more than we got last year this time, and they've been doing a pretty good job of putting some videos out there too of themselves. I know everybody got it. We're recording this on Tuesday. A lot of people were getting excited about that Eugene Wilson little montage of plays that he made. I guess it would have been, they released it on Monday, so maybe the Sunday evening practice with Billy Napier, of course, kind of mentioned him saying, yeah, he kind of really broke out there on that Sunday evening. So we saw a lot of use of him on Saturday in the open portion or in the open practice, and then in the scrimmage, or not the scrimmage, the Sunday night practice, they put that video out on Monday, and we saw some things there with Eugene Wilson. So I know Will and I went big time in depth on it Monday night on Gators Breakdown, but I think we're all getting kind of excited for that trio of freshmen right there. But you guys can hop on in. We can discuss that. One more thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and I don't know if it's me. I don't think I usually do this. I don't get caught up in it too much, but you probably can hear it in my voice on the episodes the last couple of weeks. I'm getting a little more optimistic about this season. I'm usually got my mind made up by the time fall camp starts, and fall camp doesn't usually sway my mind one way or another, but maybe I'm getting wrapped up in it a little bit of what we're hearing. I'm a believer in Mertz is probably better than maybe I originally thought. I don't necessarily know what that equates to, but I do feel better about it. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to go out there and win a Heisman and go out there and lead Florida to 10-2. But I do think it will be adequate play there by Graham Mertz. And then these young receivers we're talking about. I think the receivers, somebody like Marcus Burt can kind of step up too. And I do think this defense takes a big improvement. So I'm kind of teetering on that 7-5, but I might lean 8-4 right now. I got another couple of weeks before I kind of got to make that, but I usually have my mind made up by now, but I'm still kind of wavering a little bit. I like what I'm hearing right now. So I don't know if you guys feel it too. Are you a little more optimistic than you were coming out of spring, maybe just even a couple of weeks ago before fall camp started? I know I've tried not to get wrapped up in the excitement of the season coming and then that kind of setting and changing expectations. But I have found myself right there.
Yeah, Dave. Just seeing the practice, on Saturday, it really got my confidence going because I can see why they didn't take any receivers in the transfer portal. It's like just seeing how good those freshmen played. It was Saturday. Just the amount of how good I feel like that D line is going to be. It's like that D line. That first team D line. I feel they're going to be earth movers. I don't know how anybody's going to move them off the ball. Just they look even better than they did in the spring.
Yeah, that group going back a week ago, I kind of made my spiel about this defense, and it's really because of how good I think Florida will be up front and how deep they'll be up front. We heard Armstrong on the Florida Media Day kind of go to name by name, of Billy Napier this a couple of days ago saying, hey, look, we're bigger, faster, stronger, deeper up front, than on defense than we have been. And it's not lip service. Now, hopefully that equates to a lot better play there. But it's not lip service. They are bigger, faster, stronger, deeper. What does that mean in terms of everything? It should mean this defense is better, but we know how hard the schedule is at the same time. But I do think this defense is better. It won't look. I don't think there'll be gaps of play where an opposing offense just continues to take advantage of a defense. I think they're gonna make some plays. I really do. They're gonna make some plays. They're going to be a tougher out than they have been. That may not equate to more wins. It may just equate to closer ball games. And you got an offense. You got some complementary football that comes into play as well. But I'm confident that side of the ball is going to be better. Anybody else want to hop in?
I think I've been more confident about this team than the general, public, for lack of a better word, for a while now. I just feel like, as talented as Anthony was, there were so many games where he didn't necessarily lose it. But, there were simple throws that he didn't make that I feel like Graham's going to be able to make. That combined with the run game, feels like we're going to be better at receiver, improve depth along the defensive line. Corey Raymond in control of both the defensive backs and the safeties. No more, maybe less blown coverages like so many in the Tennessee game. I don't know. I'm just more confident. I think I probably started around 7-5, but I think 8-4 is very doable. And I do not think that, 9-3 is out of the question. It just depends on how we start the year. If you start the year with a big win against Utah and the things that I just said are true, then I start feeling better about games like, Tennessee, Arkansas, maybe, a trap game like Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky, games like that.
Yeah, going back to the quarterback, it's something I've brought up before too. I don't think Graham Mertz is going to be the excitement of Anthony Richardson, but Billy Napier may be able to call a better game because he knows what he's going to get from his quarterback. There won't be that high, and there won't be that low. I think there'll be a level of consistency right there from the quarterback position, and that may help the coaching staff a bit more. Maybe not quite as good as a quarterback as Anthony Richardson, but if the staff knows what they're going to get, they can help build a game plan. They can better build a game plan around Graham Mertz and around this running game. And not to take too much from what we've kind of seen some recent videos, and something I definitely wanted to bring up today is, in the open portion of practice today, are we going to get a little more creative on offense? You do see some receivers in the backfield running routes from the backfield. Ricky Pearsall in the backfield running a route, from the backfield as a receiver. Eugene Wilson doing the same thing. They're with the running backs doing the same thing. And hey, look, let me pull it up. there was a good conversation on running back passing game there for the Gators and Billy Napier, and will they be more involved in the passing game this year? And I found some interesting stats. I came into the conversation kind of late, but somebody had brought up a good point of, Anthony Richardson being the quarterback there for the Gators and how that maybe, limited the running back passing game and maybe even more athletic quarterback limiting the running back passing game. And some interesting stats that I found, if I go back to Billy Napier. So in his first season, but this is before Levi Lewis took over. I didn't get the name of the quarterback, but I know it was more of a pocket passer Billy Napier's first year there at Louisiana. He had 2 running backs, Trey Ragas and Elijah Mitchell. Ragas had 25 receptions as a running back in 2018. Elijah Mitchell had 20. So between the top 2 running backs, there was 45 receptions. And you go back to Billy Napier's first year at Florida, Montreal Johnson had 12, Trevor Etienne had 9. So there were about 20, well over 20 more in his first season at Utah or at Louisiana than his first season at Florida. But then Levi Lewis started in 2019. You got that more athletic quarterback. You got that more running quarterback. And you started, it was nowhere near what it was in 2018. Between 3 guys, it added up to just 26 for the top 3 running backs, having 26 receptions in 2019 once Levi Lewis took over. In 2020, you had Elijah Mitchell had 16, Chris Smith had 16, Ragas had 9. So even that COVID year, it crept back up a little bit. But in 2021, Imani Bailey with 15, Chris Smith with 14, Montreal Johnson had 6 in his freshman year at Louisiana. Still, not necessarily really matching what they did in Billy Napier's first year in 18 with his top 2 having 25 and 20. Johnson and Etienne last year had 12 and 9. So I thought it was, pretty interesting there that maybe now going back to more of a pocket passer, you do open up the running back passing game more so with Montreal Johnson, Trevor Etienne this year. And also maybe, as we saw it today in some of that open portion of practice, I believe it was Zach Goodall who put the videos up. You have Pearsall, Eugene Wilson in the backfield running routes from the backfield. So they're maybe even trying to get a little more creative in the backfield by either motioning receivers back there or they're going to be lined up beside the quarterback and getting some guys the ball out of the backfield through the passing game.
Yeah, Dave, does that remind you of Deebo Samuel at all? Because I mean, if you're going to compare Napier's offense to what Kyle Shanahan's doing in San Francisco, I always point out, like, Shanahan has Kittle and Deebo to play with, and Napier didn't have that.
Ooh, man, you get me anything close to that, maybe maybe my excitement level will keep going up.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, McCaffrey's there now too, right? He went to San Francisco last year, and so of course, maybe expanding that offense a bit.
Yeah, I mean, their whole offense, like the whole scheme of the offense, right, is built around you're going to be able to get unique one-on-ones for people at these different positions. I mean, look, I hate to hate on last year's roster as much as I probably do, but you didn't have a ton of guys who can win one-on-ones. You had Pearsall when he was healthy. You had Etienne, at times, but that was it. And if you're able to free up a bunch of guys now, like these incoming freshmen, I think the things people hate about Napier's scheme will look a lot nicer.
I also just think, and I don't want to seem like an Anthony Richardson hater because I'm not. I just feel like he missed a lot of those throws. I mean, I feel like there were a couple of games where there were just running backs in the flats and checkdowns running wide open for first downs and sometimes more that he just wouldn't get there in his progressions, which when you've got a guy like that, you go 1-2 run. But at the same time, when you've got a guy like Trevor Etienne who can make somebody miss running free in the flat, you want to hit him when there's nothing there downfield. I feel like Anthony, I don't know if it was a playbook thing or what, just never really felt like he got there in his progressions. And even like on those little quick screens, it felt like a lot of those balls were low, high, didn't lead them forward, had them kind of turning around to catch it, so you lose momentum. And in the quick screen game like that, you only have so long for those blocks because those receivers don't block very much. So I just feel like if Mertz can be more accurate, which, I'm not saying that he's not going to make the game-changing plays that Anthony made, like in that LSU game. But if he can just be more accurate in the quick game, I feel like that's going to make a huge difference, especially when, our two best offensive players are the running backs.
Yeah, I thought I saw a little bit of that Saturday where I think there are going to be a lot of plays designed just to really quickly get the ball out of Mert's hands. And now I know we've discussed it too, and I know Ocho in here, Ocho Gringo, and you guys have kind of maybe chronicled his offensive line talk, but I really kind of agree with it that we may see a more quick passing game this year. While there are probably one of the biggest questions on this offense are the pass blocking. Well, once again, it was. Very not a lot of confidence coming from it in the spring game. Last year, you were kind of able to get bailed out by Anthony Richardson in that regard a little bit last year. So I think, I'm sure the staff sees it as well. And all these quick screens and all these quick passes and flares that we're going to see with Wilson and these running backs, that's probably going to be a little bit more just to help Graham Mertz out too and help this offensive line out. Where they don't have to block as long. So if you got the guys that can win the one-on-one battles, can make something happen after the catch, I mean, the options there, as going back to just a second ago, they didn't have a lot of those options last year. I was kind of, I'm not going to say disappointed at Ricky Pearsall, but just kind of disappointed that we didn't see a lot of the screen passes to him that I saw at Arizona State and a lot of the slants that I saw at Arizona State where there was a lot of catch and run by Ricky Pearsall. We didn't see that a whole lot. When he would get thrown at over the middle, the pass would be a yard behind him and he'd have to slow down or he'd have to turn to catch it and lose his momentum. So like I said, it wasn't all him either, but and I don't mean to make this sound like an Anthony Richardson bash machine either. I thought he did a lot of good last year for Florida too. And this is thinking about maybe where this offense can kind of take off from that point. And I do think, a more accurate quarterback can help these receivers. A more quick passing game can help this offensive line and quarterback. So, I the way this team is constructed a bit, I think it's going to look a bit different. And, you got Utah coming up game one, new quarterback. And I thought that was a benefit last year of playing Utah. I don't think they knew kind of what to expect from Billy Napier and Anthony Richardson and this offense. And, if that game had been played later in the season, I'm not sure Florida wins it, but I do think they had that element of surprise a little bit last year in game one. And I think they may have it again this year. Like we know what Utah's going to do. Utah is going to run this pretty much the same thing they did last year. A lot of that talent returns, quarterback returns, Brent Keithy at tight end returns. But we know what Utah is going to do. They haven't really changed their whole style too much anyway. But a lot of the change on Florida and all this change we're talking about, I think we're going to see it game one because it is so much different than what we saw last year. And that element of surprise may help Florida get another upset win.
Yeah, Dave, just to piggyback a lot off what you guys have said already, I would definitely think that Florida, even if the offensive line's, good this year, I still think we needed that added element of the quick game because as much speed as we have and everything and space, especially with Eugene Wilson and all these guys, like you need a quick game. It's like that could, move the chains a little bit, get you 5 yards, so it sets you up, in a second and 3 or so, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there were more times, too. I think it can get a little more creative. There were a lot of times when you could tell the third down play call was to get in fourth and short, and they didn't necessarily get in that in fourth as short as they wanted to. But so I think even in extending that a little bit as well, I do think, you're right. There are just certain, just in general plays that I think, the speed on the field can help and the way you play call and the way you maybe, change your game plan compared to last year. Can really help this coaching staff and this offense.
Dave, do you feel better about the Utah game this year than you did last year?
Ooh, that is a good question. Man,
I do.
Oh, wow, you got me with that one. That is a good one. This has been a preview of a Gators Breakdown Plus members chat. You can take part in chats like these by joining Gators Breakdown Plus starting at $3 a month. Link is in the description, and you get access to all these features. You get these extra episodes. You get access to the Discord server where you get to have text chats. It takes part in chats like these as well. Hey, another big bonus, ad-free Gators Breakdown episodes, Q&As, giveaways, custom shout-outs, all that at Gators Breakdown Plus. Link is in the description. Come join us.